Well, welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. This morning I'm going to be reading the thought for the week, and then you can join me if you're in the room down at the bottom in the bolded area. There is one life that is eternally bringing itself into expression through its creation. Nothing is separate or apart. Everything is divine in nature. Everything is whole and holy. That includes every single person, whether they are aware of it or not. The depth of our being is immeasurable, for it is infinite in nature. I'm not talking about our bodies or our thoughts or our emotions, for all those things are transitory. I'm talking about the being of life. Sunday's message is entitled Deep and Simple. What I've just described is the deep part. This month, we are diving deeper into the science of mind teachings, which are primarily metaphysical in nature. The depth of these teachings brings us back time and again to the simplicity that the creative force and energy, God, is all in all. When we can remove the coverings we've placed, usually unintentionally, on that bright and shining light within us, then we are able to experience the holiness of every moment. Leaning into life is not for the faint-hearted, for there are no guarantees we will get what we want. Our preferences, desires, likes, and dislikes can and will change, and therefore not things that truly feed us. In the most simplest of terms, when we can accept, no matter what happens, that life, God, love, is for us, we are teachable and can flourish. Say with me, right now I set my intention to accept life as it truly is and be grateful for it. I do my part to live, grow, and be my best, a beautiful, evolving soul today. So before I dive into our topic for today of Deep and Simple, I want to acknowledge the date that this is, September 11th, 9/11. Many of us have been known to be calling it that. And it was 21 years ago today that our countries was attacked. And it seems that it just didn't happen 21 years ago, that this kind of thing happens day in and day out throughout our human existence here on planet Earth. Wherever we look, there's wars, there's turmoil, there's terrorism, there's brutality that is experienced on this earth. And I'm trusting that hopefully, as I wrote in the thought for the week, that we are evolving to be this beautiful evolving soul so that we can release and we can let go and we can move beyond those ideas of separation, those ideas of being better, needing more, grabbing, whatever the case might be, of the brutality that happens in our life. And I have a little something I wanted to read you, and it's in my bag over there. I'll be right back. I was talking to someone this morning. I was saying how that I have about 5 or 6, maybe 7 or 8, I don't know, things that I read every morning, like a daily read. And one of them is the daily word, unity. And I thought Unity's word this morning was very apropos for the occasion. And the one word that they have, each day it's one word, and then they espouse on it a bit, is the word remembrance. You live in my heart. Whether they have passed on recently or many years ago, the people for whom I have cared deeply are alive in my heart. If I feel sad or lonely for those I miss, I pause to recall a special memory or something unique about them that made them even ordinary days feel magical. Reflecting on the love and joy we shared and the blessings their lives afforded me, I feel comforted. I am thankful for these memories and will always be mine to treasure. I know that life does not end with death. Life is eternal. and my loved ones will always be beautiful, beloved expressions of spirit. I am grateful those who have passed from this life experience continue to live in spirit and are forever in my heart. And a quote from Psalms 112, verse 6. For the righteous will never be moved, they will be remembered forever. And so this month, what we're since it's September, I always like to kind of go back to basics in our theme for the month of September, and to kind of review and highlight again some of the basics of our Science of Mind teachings. And so this month, I've talked a little bit last week. This week, I wanted to bring up how we pray. Our prayer is called a treatment. It's a 5-step method that Ernest Holmes developed, and we have learned how to organize. I like it because it's kind of organized, and it helps me keep my thoughts in order. And Peter's previous church, where he lived up in Redondo Beach, I think, made this beautiful little fold-out thing, and there's more over here, so if anybody wants one, you can get it. But it has the 5 steps in it. And the first step is to recognize that God is love, that all there is God. That's the first step. The second step, and as you open this up, it gets bigger, is that you unify with God. I unify with God. That if that God is all there is and God is love, then that's what I am. That I am that love in expression, and I accept that. I feel it. I dwell on the revelation and on the knowing that, yes, I am love in expression. And then the third step is, he calls it declare. We speak our word. I've called it realization, so I use it as an R. This is the place, in the third step, where we state our intention. What is it that we want to experience in our life? And it can be anything, but we are specific. In this one, I'll give you the example. In this moment, I am the perfect and forever expressing idea of health and perfect relationships. So we got 2 of them in there. God knows who I am and how to animate my beliefs. I believe in my whole, perfect, and complete life. I believe in the sacred nature of my relationships. Every word out of my mouth instructs my cells and bodies to move with love. Every thought I think creates and attracts my perfect relationships. There is no limitation to my love or to my willingness to receive. God forever moves by means of me. That's their third step in treatment. And then as this opens up, it gets even bigger. The fourth step is to give thanks to God for all your blessings. And this one is to affirm, blessed and bountiful, I give thanks for all my relationships and perfect health. I am grateful for God's creation. I am grateful for my life, filled with gratitude. I use my peace of mind and good health to serve all whom I encounter. Rested and thankful, I am blessing God, that blessing that God created me to be. So you're thankful, knowing that as I have spoken my word, that it is being done now. It's not something in the future. It's not something that I'm wishing and hoping will happen. It's a declaration that this is happening in mind, and that it is that the spirit, the life of God, the law, what we call the law of God, the subconscious, is responding in perfect order and perfect timing to this declaration that I have been given. And then the last one, which is the biggest piece of the paper, is release. We surrender and we advance and we grow. I release my word and let God make manifest all that I have spoken. Into the law it goes and returns by means of God's creation. Sacred and spiritual, my life is now the outcome I seek, and it is so. And so if you want to remember, we have a little trick to remembering our steps in treatment. And it's, are you ready to receive? 5. R is the realization, recognition that there is only God. That's the first step. U is unification. If God is all there is, that's me. That's step 2. The third is, I call it realization. What am I declaring? What is it that I'm speaking my word to have? That's the third step. Are you ready? That's the ready is the equivalent to realization. 2, and that's thanksgiving. That's the fourth step, is thanksgiving. And the last one is receive, release, let it go. That's the R. So are you ready to receive are the 5 steps that we do when we're doing a spiritual mind treatment. And it's just a basic way to speak our truth, to speak our knowing that this is the life of God. And as I declare what it is that I individually want to make manifest in my life, then the universe, the energies, all of the unseen realm that we live in responds and presents to us what we have so declared it to be. So today's topic is entitled Deep and Simple, and might be familiar to some of you because this is the book that we have been studying in our book study by Bo Zoloff. And in the back of the book, which we just started this last week, is a segment of practices of how can we specifically work and do some things in order, not just reading words on a piece of paper, you know, and having an intent intellectually known to us, but what can we actually do physically from a practice standpoint to put all these ideas into practice. And so we decided as a group that we were going to work with the first one, which is setting your intention for the morning. As you first wake up, or as if before you do your meditation, he suggested these suggestions, but each person could you do your own as to what speaks to you. But I think these are fantastic. So his suggestions were, I am a seeker of truth on a spiritual journey. I'm a seeker of truth on a spiritual journey. I have deep things to learn. May I learn them honorably. I have good things to offer. May I offer them generously. I am where I need to be. I am doing what I need to be doing. May I be simple, humble, a kind presence on the earth today. May my actions today reflect my deepest beliefs. May I be grateful to those who came before me, and may I make the roads smoother for those who will travel them after me. I think those are fantastic ones. And so we've been working with those. Then he suggests that during the day, once you set that intention, those intentions, is that as something comes up, you kind of run it by again in your mental review and say, oh, is this supporting me right now? Whatever I'm doing, whatever conversation I am in, am I saying something just to, make myself feel good or to pout myself up? Or my words, are they going to be a genuine upliftment for myself and others? Am I living, in other words, what I intended to do? And you catch yourself during the course of the day checking in and clarifying, am I living my intentions? And then he suggests at the end of the day, we do a review. And as we get in bed, we think about things that we did, and did it go ahead and align with my intention? If so, yes, celebrate, be happy, pat yourself on the back. And if you've thought of a time or two that you did not live up to that intention, that you give yourself the renewed energy to do it better tomorrow. You don't beat yourself up over it, but you acknowledge, I could have done a little better job there. And so tomorrow, my intention is that I will carry forth more of what it is I wanted to do. I have many different things that I use. This is an additional one now. And I have given this one out to you folks, and I am so working with this one. It's called the Welcoming Prayer. And if you want a copy of it, I can give it to you. Actually, it's on our website too. You can pull it up. But I welcome everything that comes to me today because I know it is for my healing. I welcome all thoughts, all feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. I let go of my desire for power and control. I let go of my desire for affection, esteem, approval, and pleasure. Really? I let go of my desire for survival and security. I let go of my desire to change any situation, condition, person, or myself. I open to the love and presence of God and God's action within. All of those letting go ones, what we are doing is we are letting go of that separate personal self, the egoic self, the one that says that I have to measure up, or that I have to evaluate, contrast, compare, judge. And it sinks us in to the realization that whatever God is giving me this day, it is for my good. It is for my healing. And yes, maybe it's an opportunity for me to grow. Maybe it's something that I didn't expect. But there is something within me, a power within me that is greater than anything outside of me. Life is giving me what I need. And when we can turn it around, whatever the situation is, and look at it from that perspective, then we are opening up our avenue of this infinite being that we are to see what is the blessing here, what is the good here. There's a general summary at the end of Ernest Holmes' textbook. That's what most of Science of Mind is based on, is Ernest Holmes' textbook. He wrote, this is the 1938 version. And he has a general summary at the end of it that I wanted to share with you. He said, fear blocks the givingness of spirit. Did you feel that? When you feel constricted and fearful, you're not able to receive what spirit is bringing you. Fear is a belief in limitation. We must believe it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, and therefore we are to receive it. Love alone can overcome fear because love surrenders itself to the object of its adoration. We have to surrender that personal self. We have to surrender that egoic self to the greater self. The soul must make a complete surrender of itself to the Spirit. That is, the law must come under subjection to the Spirit. The will of the Spirit is peace, clear thinking, and happiness. It could be no other will. Should we learn to contemplate those things which are desirable and to forget the rest, we would soon overcome fear through faith. Both are mental. Let us learn to reverse the thoughts of fear and transmute them then into faith. There was somebody that gave me a little tiny little packet and had a little piece of writing in it and had a teeny tiny little mustard seed in it. And I think most of us are familiar with the parable in the Bible about the mustard seed and Jesus sharing that we could, even if we have just the size of faith of a mustard seed, the things we can do, the mountains we can move. And that's what he's talking about here, is to let love envelop us, to let love shoo away all of those shadows and bring forth what it has for us. And what it reminds me of is Philippians 4:8, and this is another one that I'm going to be adding to my daily description of what I'm stating. Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honest, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is any praise, think on these things. Think how wonderful it is, rather than how awful it is. And then Galatians 5:22. But the fruits of Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, self-control. There is no law against these. Let us therefore live in spirit and surrender to the Spirit. We know life is going to change. Life is impermanent. There could be another equivalent of a 9/11. Who knows? You know, in the Bible, there's, I think, probably the most used verse in the whole thing, the most used phrase is, and it came to pass. It came to pass. Life is impermanent. We have no guarantees of what this day, the next day, will hold for us. And so, but if we think on these things, and those are the fruits of the Spirit, when we live in knowing that, one of the things in the book, it was talking about this fellow who got captured by the enemy, and they were going to behead him. And he said, give me a piece of paper, I want to write something down. And he wrote it down, and he put it in his hand, and then they proceeded to behead the man. And his paper, that when they discovered afterward, was, you may take my head, but not my faith. For we are spiritual, eternal beings of light, of love, of joy, of peace. I believe that we are here to be a beautiful, evolving soul or spirit today, to be our best. As we wake up in the morning, set our intentions. During the course of the day, check in, see how we're doing. In the evening, review. Allow ourselves to know that yes, I did good today, maybe not so good, but then to set the intention for the next day, to think on what is true, what is honest, what is pure, or whatever speaks to you personally, individually, for your individual intention for the day, to live by it. Life is a gift, but it is up to us to receive it. I was reminded of my little acronym that I wrote, BEST is a beautiful, evolving soul or spirit today. I was thinking of this little song we used to sing to the kids. Good, better, best, I'll never let it rest till my good is better and my better best. Good, better, best, I'll never let it rest till my good is better and my better best. Go forth this day and have the best day possible. Love and blessings. Namaste.